Anthropic just made a move that's going to cost a lot of business owners serious money. And most of them are going to think it's actually just saving them time. So, Claude for small business. That's what we're talking about today. And specifically, why I think it's a trap for anyone, especially business owners, trying to seriously use AI in their operations. Everything you're seeing online right now from other creators, from the tech press, on Twitter, LinkedIn, it's all pointing the same direction. All-in-one AI tools, AI agents are the future of how a small business is run. One platform, everything connected, AI doing work across your whole stack. That's the consensus. But I work with these tools every day, building automations for real businesses, running it myself, and I see something pretty different. The platform model is almost always the wrong foundation the moment you start scaling. And the reason why is something that gets completely glossed over in every one of these launch breakdowns. So in this video, I want to cover 3 things why these all-in-one suites are structurally working against you as you grow, why most business owners don't realize they're actually paying for what they're actually paying for, and what the smarter build looks like, because it's not as complicated as it sounds. All right, so the hidden cost nobody mentions. The first thing to understand is what AI is actually doing inside of these workflows and what it isn't. Take the featured QuickBooks payroll workflow from the new Claude for Small Business launch. The pitch is this: Claude pulls your cash balance, checks your PayPal settlements, builds a 30-day cash forecast, ranks what's overdue, and it queues reminders for you to approve. That's great. It sounds like AI doing all the heavy lifting. But let's look at what's actually happening step by step. Pulling the cash balance from QuickBooks is just an API call, just code. Checking PayPal settlements, another API call, still just code. Building a 30-day forecast from known inflows and outflows, that's math, logic, something code can also do. I mean, a spreadsheet's been doing that calculation now for decades, right? Ranking overdue invoices, sorting a list, code. The only moment in the entire workflow where a language model, an AI model, is actually needed or actually earning its keep is when it's writing the plain English summary or it flags something that doesn't fit the normal pattern. That's maybe 10% of the actual work. The other 90% is what I'd call deterministic. It's programmed logic. It doesn't need AI. It doesn't need a language model. It needs a developer to write it once and then it runs. Now, when that entire workflow runs through a platform like Claude for Small Business or Claude Cowork, every step gets priced like an AI operation. You're paying for a Ferrari engine to turn a doorknob, and here's where this becomes kind of a real business problem. As volume goes up, more transactions, more frequent runs, more users, that cost structure scales against you. So what felt like a reasonable subscription at month 1 looks very different when the workflow's running hundreds of times a day. All right, I want to make it clear, the lock-in is the real trap. Like, this is the deeper issue and the one that compounds greatly over time. Every one of these platforms is designed to keep you inside their ecosystem. Their models, their infrastructure, their usage limits, their roadmap. Right now, this might not feel like a big deal, but we're at a genuinely interesting moment in where AI models are heading. Local models, the kind that run on your own hardware, are closing the gap fast. Not for everything, but for focused work like payroll summarization, invoice flagging, or draft generation, a smaller, faster local model like Gemma 4 is increasingly a real option. And local means 2 things that matter a lot for business owners. Your data never leaves the machine, and there's no API bill attached to every run. If you own your build, adopting that is a config change. Swap the model, test it, ship it. The rest of the workflow doesn't care. If you're inside a closed platform, that option just doesn't exist. You're on their model until they decide to give you another one. Same story every time that a better tool enters the market. New CRM, better payment processor, new data source, and something you own, you can just wire it in. In a platform, you have to wait for them to add it to the connector list, and sometimes they just never will, or you have to do an upgrade to a certain plan in order to get it. Look, the platform, it's not just a subscription, right? It's a ceiling on what your operation can become. So what's the smarter build actually look like? What does the alternative look like here? Because most people assume it's some massive engineering project. Well, it's not. Take that same payroll workflow. A well-built custom app handles it like this. The data pulling from QuickBooks, PayPal, that just runs on a schedule automatically. No human in the loop, no AI involved, negligible costs. That's 90% of the workflow, just code doing its job. The forecast logic, the overdue ranking, also rules-based. It's still just code. The one place a language model actually touches it, the summary, the anomaly flag, that's the thing that needs the AI intelligence. It's a single targeted call. which means you pick the cheapest model that gets the job done. You can use an alternative Chinese model like Kimi K2, Xiaomi Mimo, GLM. You can use any of the American models you want, whichever one your heart desires. Any of the local models too, like we talked about. Not to mention, as the better models come out, you just kind of swap it in. Nothing else in the app needs to change. The output lands wherever the makes sense for the business, right? If you want it to go to your email, Slack, a dashboard, a PDF straight to the account, you decide. And because AI is only touching the part that actually needs it, the cost per run is a fraction of what the platform charges, and actually significantly faster too, which at scale really starts to compound. More importantly, when a better model drops next quarter, you're not just waiting for the platform to support it. When a new tool enters your stack, you just wire it in. And when your business grows and volume doubles, your infrastructure can grow with it instead of sending you just a bigger bill, right? That's what it means to own the build rather than rent the workflow and doing it all inside of Claude Cowork or any of the other all-in-one platforms out there. All right, so how do we actually get there? What do you need to do to start implementing this? Well, instead of doing all of this in Claude Cowork and using Claude Cowork to run the QuickBooks payroll, use Claude Code to build the application, the workflow that does the QuickBooks payroll, right? Send it the project, say, here, these are the things I need. These are the apps I need included. Claude, how do I build this out? Gemini, how do I build Codex? How do I build this out, right? Use any of your AI agent models and you can start building this project out. And it'll probably only take a week or two if it's your first time, even less if you've done it before. If you don't use AI, and most of the business owners I work with, they're not using AI to code, I just want you to know this is a project, not a retainer, right? Here's what the workflow needs to do. Here's the data it needs to touch. Here's what the output should look like. Someone builds it and then you can own it. That's the end of the conversation for a long time. The way I think about it when I'm working through it with someone is you're not buying a tool. You're more so building infrastructure. This infrastructure has a one-time cost with compounding returns. A subscription has a recurring cost with compounding constraints. The business owners I've seen get real, durable leverage from AI almost always got there the same way. They stopped fitting their workflows into someone else's product and started building something that fits around how they actually operate. Not to mention building around what the people in their business actually needed. Okay, look, Claude for small business is a solid product for what it is. If you want something convenient for the occasional use and you're not worried about volume or lock-in, it does work. It works great. But if the goal is actual operational leverage, the kind where AI is running in the background, handling volume, getting cheaper and smarter over time, the all-in-one suite is almost always the wrong foundation. The good news is the alternative, it's not that complicated. It just requires thinking about it differently from the start, right? If you're running a business at the level where this actually matters and want to talk through what this looks like for your specific operation, I'm around. My name's Nolan Grout. Thanks for watching today's video. Comment below and let me know what you're trying to add AI into to have AI handle in your business. What are your people looking for? What kind of value are they trying to get automated and taken care of each and every day, right? How can we get them off of the busy work and get them onto the tasks that move the needles? Let me know so that I can help you out and maybe make a video on it or something like that. Leave a like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.